is Anna from Cat Realty, and today I have a really interesting video for you. So today's video is the 10 top reasons our clients move to Portugal. And this is of course based on feedback that I have from clients that Cat Realty has had over the past 2 years. So for those of you who don't know, Cat Realty is a relocation and investment agency that supports expats in coming to Portugal, both to purchase or to rent. And we also give a lot of lifestyle support, so you can come to us with your ideal lifestyle and we will help you find it for you. We are a team of locals and will provide all kinds of insight and basically be your man or woman on the inside. So if you do find this kind of service interesting, feel free to check our website and social media. So today's topic, top 10 reasons our clients move to Portugal. And this is something that comes up a lot on calls. People are often curious the reasons other people have to move to Portugal. And we recently also started doing more community building and meetups between clients and so on, so people can share their experiences. And I'm going to talk to you a bit about what I've learned this past 2 years of my clients. Do keep in mind that a big majority of my clients, I would say about 70% of my clients, are US. So a lot of these reasons will be from a US perspective, but they do apply to a lot of other countries. So the first reason that my clients move to Portugal is quality of life. And I think this is pretty much general when it comes to people moving to Portugal. So Portugal has a great weather. People who are coming from bigger economies like the US, the money goes further. So for us, the price has been going up very significantly and Portuguese income does not go very far in Portugal. However, if you are coming with a foreign income, the quality of life you can achieve is quite amazing. And for people that come from wealthier countries, if you come with an average income of middle class, you are able to have an almost luxury life here in Portugal. So that is of course one of the big factors of coming to Portugal. Also, people feel very welcomed and it has great quality of food and life in general. So I was very on edge, so very indecisive on the second one, between safety and healthcare, because those are the two main reasons my clients move to Portugal. I decided to make safety number 2. So Portugal is the 7th safest country in the world, and we have a pretty low criminality rate, and especially from people that come to US, the lack of crime and especially gun crime is an extremely attractive thing that gives you a lot of peace of mind, and that's of course very important. So I have actually a lot of clients from LGBTQ backgrounds and that just don't feel safe in their own country. And although Portugal is not perfect, the hate crimes is something very uncommon here. I'm not saying they don't happen. They do, of course, every now and again, but they are very uncommon, and overall the LGBTQ community can feel very safe in here. And there are no random attacks, well, very rarely, I would say, but this is definitely a big factor. Also, people with families that they just want their kids to be able to run around in the streets without being worried. And that's definitely something you can do here in Portugal. For us, it's actually completely unthinkable to the gun crime and the school shootings and all of that. it's completely mind-blowing for me as a Portuguese person that people go through that. It's just, it makes absolutely no sense for me. And that kind of thing is completely unheard of here in Portugal. So overall, you can truly walk the streets in peace. And the same thing applies to, for example, Brazilians. As Brazil is a Portuguese-speaking country, of course it is extremely popular for Brazilians to come to Portugal. And Brazil is very unsafe, and I actually have business in Brazil, not this business, but I have family business in Brazil and I go there every year. And I wouldn't trade Portugal for sure, because it's so hard to feel safe in Brazil. You have to keep your windows shut. There is blinded cars. If you can't take your phone out in the street, you can't wear jewelry. So you don't have to worry about any of that here in Portugal. You can walk the streets in peace, and of course there are occasional crimes, but they are rare. They are not the day-to-day most likely scenario at all. It's not like I'm saying they won't happen, but overall you feel very safe in the street. I can tell you I have never been robbed all my life. So that's of course a very important factor. So the third one, going back to what I was saying before, is healthcare. So healthcare is an extremely important factor on people that, especially from the US. I have a lot of clients that come with family members with chronic illnesses or very serious health problems, because the US health system is once again something that doesn't really make a lot of sense for us Europeans in general. So we have free public health care where you can, as a Portuguese resident, you can get pretty much all kinds of care for free. Of course, the system is not perfect, and I do have a video to give you more details about that you can check. But it is very affordable and low cost. On top of that, you have support on chronic illness medication and a lot of necessary medication that makes it very low cost. For example, the cost of insulin in the US is something that is completely unthinkable for us. And insurances are a lot cheaper. So I'm going to give you an example of my own insurance. Actually, when I started, and I have a very high-end insurance that gives a lot of coverage from a Portuguese perspective. And do keep in mind when I say I have 50,000 euros coverage in health, main health, this is not counting serious diseases like cancer and so on. So just the regular visitations. This basically covers at least 2 major surgeries here in Portugal. I know that in the US this wouldn't even cover 1 surgery, but that's not the case at all in Portugal. So to have a surgery cost more than 10k, it would have to be an extremely specialized high-end surgery. So 50k covers a lot. And currently I'm paying, I believe it's 88 euros per month for my insurance. And that actually went up a lot in the past 3 years. When I started this insurance, it costed me 64 euros. So it went up a lot lately. But I pay very little for the appointments on private health. My co-payments are 15 euros. I pay 15 euros for having all kinds of blood tests I want. The way that my insurance works is that I pay in a batch. So whether I have 10 analyses or 20 analyses done, I pay 15 euros. Unless they are not covered in the insurance, which strangely the only thing that I had not covered so far is vitamin D. Of course, the higher your age group and your risk level is, the more expensive the insurance is going to be. And there are also insurances that actually accept pre-existing conditions, but you do have a waiting period. So overall, you can get very good, affordable healthcare here, and that of course adds to reason number one, quality of life. So the fourth reason my clients move to Portugal is access to Europe. So Europe is of course one of the major economies, and Portugal is extremely attractive for people who want to have access to Europe. I have a lot of people that move to Portugal that have family members, often in other countries in Europe, and it's very easy to travel to other countries from Portugal. You have a lot of low-cost flights to Europe destinations. Flights can cost you from like 15 euros in low-cost companies like Ryanair and EasyJet and so on. Of course, these are the promo costs, but overall you have pretty affordable flight rates to travel all over Europe. And even if you want to go to other parts of the world, it is a pretty central location. So the ease of travel is also one of the big reasons that my clients come to Portugal. And of course, the access to the Schengen area, as having a Portuguese visa, a residency card, you have free circulation within the European Union. So that is of course a very important reason. The fifth reason that my clients come to Portugal is our attractive cities. So our cities are very charming in its general. So we have very unique architecture and a lot of cultural points and very rich culture in general. So our cities are pretty and people like the fact that our cities are pretty. And another thing that people really like is walkability. And this is, once again, generally in Europe, but it doesn't seem to be the case in a lot of US cities and states. So cities in Europe in general, and that includes Portugal, are made to be walked. You can walk from one end of the city to the other. I think you can walk from one end of the country to the other. You even have the pilgrimages to Santiago de Compostela, which basically do that. Although they do parts on the highway, there's actually lots of ways to do that without going on the highway, but you definitely go on main national roads. But either way, I'm getting a bit off topic, but our cities are very walkable. And one thing that is very attractive, especially for US clients, is that if you live in the center of a city like Porto and Lisbon, and even some smaller cities like Aveiro, Coimbra, Castelo Branco, Évora, Albufeira, so these big and medium-sized cities, you can live fine without a car. You can walk everywhere you want. And we have a very, very good network of public transportation. So that is also, well, not a very, very good network, but a very decent network of public transportation. But that is also one of the reasons that our clients come to Portugal. So how attractive our cities are. The next factor is once again connected to the first one that kind of englobates everything, doesn't it? That is the quality of life. And so the sixth factor is affordability and tax rates. So I mentioned this on the first topic as well. So basically, when you are coming from a wealthier country, your income goes pretty far here. So to give you an example, you can, well, I don't recommend coming with an income less than, let's say, 35k per year, but you can live pretty comfortable with that. And the further up we go, the further luxuries you will be able to afford. So this of course takes into consideration that the rent prices is going up, but overall our property prices are still pretty decent, excluding Lisbon. Lisbon and the Algarve are kind of a bubble because of high tourism and so on, but you can still find pretty decent prices comparing to other parts of the world and other high economies in the world. when it comes to real estate and buying property. The rental market is a bit out of control right now, and in my personal opinion, the rental prices are way too high at the moment, especially considering the internal economy. But once again, considering it from an external perspective, Portugal is very affordable. And you can have very high quality life here when it comes to climate, affordability, food, quality of food, which brings me to the 7th point. I forgot something on the 6th point, which is tax breaks. So affordability and tax breaks. So here in Portugal we have a program called the non-habitual residence tax program that gives a lot of tax breaks to people that come from outside of Portugal, to expats. And those are extremely affordable, extremely attractive, because both people with active and passive incomes, especially people with passive incomes, the taxes on their incomes are often significantly reduced, which means that it's a very attractive incentive to come to Portugal. So, now yes, let's go to the 7th point, that is food and quality of products. So this is something that my clients often rave about, because we have amazing food. And I'm a foodie too, so no complaints here. Our Mediterranean food is amazing. We have a very big diversity of local foods and local products. And above all, we have very high quality products. So here in Portugal, we have amazing fruit, amazing vegetables, amazing breads, and you can get very high quality ingredients at very low prices. And it's another big incentive for having a great quality of life. And you also have a great diversity of restaurants, even from different cultures. You have all kinds of restaurants throughout Portugal, and you also have a lot of very vegetarian and organic options, and organic is getting more and more popular, which I think is great. I'm personally a big fan of organic products. So that is also another big factor that people enjoy to come to Portugal. And the 8th factor I have here was also partially mentioned on the other points, and it is culture. So culture in Portugal is very welcoming, and people feel extremely welcoming. Of course, it varies between city to city, and we have our own colloquialism and our own little things about each region. But overall, Portuguese people are very welcoming, and we have a very big history and culture. So we have a lot of cultural attractions, such as monuments, museums, food, and overall we have a very interesting culture and a very welcoming lifestyle. So the 9th factor is landscape. And Portugal is pretty small, especially compared to the US. Our country is smaller than a lot of states, but we have a lot here. We have a lot packed in a very small area. And if you come to live in Portugal, I definitely recommend to do a lot of internal tourism. Personally, I love that, and you can check my other videos to see some locations spread out throughout Portugal. We have our Cool Cat series that explains different and presents different cities of Portugal. And we have a very wide range of landscapes in Portugal. So I'm starting from below. You have the amazing Algarve, one of the most popular beach destinations in Europe, where you have amazing, gorgeous seaside views and cliffs and overall beach landscapes with one amazing climate for people who like heat, which I'm not one of them, but if you like heat in beach, it's an amazing location for you to go to. Then going up a bit, you have Alentejo, which is a plain area that is very strong on agriculture and apiculture, and generally it's very unique landscape of plains with a lot of cork trees, and it pretty much changes throughout the year. Like in spring it's all green, then in the summer it's all yellow, and it's just a gorgeous plain landscape, more like a countryside landscape. Then you have interior locations that are basing mountain landscapes, although you don't have very high mountains. The highest mountain we have here in Portugal is Serra da Estrela, and it rarely snows even there. It usually snows until at least once a year, but let's say that it snows like 1 or 2 months per year, so you don't have that much snow around, and it rarely stays for a long time. But you also have a lot of river landscapes. Like a lot of our cities are built around city lakes, like Porto and Coimbra, and even Lisbon has the lake going through the river, not lake, river. We don't have that many lakes. And we also have amazing forest landscape. Like my favorite forest mountain area is Jerez. That is just a gorgeous nature preserve where you have the most beautiful mountain landscape. So yes, we have beautiful landscape here in Portugal, and it's actually pretty easy to get properties with decent views. And it's been getting more expensive now due to expat interest, but it was something that wasn't very valued here in Portugal. So it's something that's been gaining value in the past few years, let's say 10 years or so. And the last reason of the 10 reasons I have here is political stability. And although political stability is relative, of course, I would say that our political system is definitely very stable, sometimes too stable. We don't have a lot of change in that regard. Usually things stay pretty much the same all the time, and it does have the downside of bureaucracies being very slow, and in generally public systems being very slow. But you do have a lot of political stability. Our government sometimes releases not so interesting measures in politics, but they tend to be not very extreme at all. So things tend to be fairly conservative in the sense of moderate. I don't mean, I mean conservative has a different kind of meaning in the US. I mean moderate. We tend to be a pretty politically mild country that is very stable in that regard. So you don't have any, I don't think we will have any dictatorship anytime soon. And although there are some far right and far left, so to say, they don't have that much power. So things are pretty stable politically wise, and that can definitely be an interesting factor for people coming to live here because they don't feel threatened by the government. So those are the top 10 reasons that my clients move to Portugal, and I'm going to go over them once again for revision purposes. So the first one is quality of life. The second one is safety. The third one is healthcare. The fourth one is access to Europe. The fifth one is attractive cities. The sixth one is affordability and tax breaks. The seventh one is food and quality of products and produce. The eighth one is culture. The ninth one is landscape. And the 10th one is political stability. So I hope that you found this interesting. I would love to hear your feedback and your own reasons for considering moving to Portugal. And if you are considering moving to Portugal but not yet starting the process, you may want to contact us and check out our website in www.savvycatrealty.com. We can be your guide on the inside and get you settled the right way at first. And you can also contact us at contact.savvycatrealty.com. We have a lot of information on our website. We do release weekly newsletters. We also have a blog with a lot of information. And we release videos here on YouTube every week. So I hope this information is useful. I would love also to get feedback and suggestions for future videos. And I hope to see you all again next week. Bye.